It's time to talk business, thanks to our partners 2 Degrees. The big gentailers will be dusting off the plans for new generation, according to the Finance Minister, Nicola Willis. We had a press conference on the show earlier. So what is the market making of all of this? Garth Bray from BusinessDesk joins us now. Garth, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
So this idea that the gentailers will be able to go out and capital raise and bring your proposals forward, it's all go.
Waving the chequebook without saying how big the cheque is going to be, basically. So Nicola Willis, I think they're still talking actually down in Parliament as we go to air, answering questions on this, because this one's been kind of built up and built up and built up, and there's a lot of documentation that's just been dumped out. Basically no firm numbers around exactly how much money government's prepared to put in to supporting projects from the 3 companies, that's Mercury, Meridian and Genesis Energy, that it owns 51% of in our right, for our sakes. But it's basically saying, Nicola Willis saying, look, took them at their word that they felt they couldn't bring forward projects for new generation. I mean, the cynics say, no, the reason they haven't been bringing them forward is because the market's set up to deliver just enough power, not too much, because you want to keep the prices where they are and remain profitable. So let's see how that mechanism changes as well. They've got some sort of regulatory changes that they're talking about that I think I heard Margaret Kearney talking about with you, saying, well, this has kind of already been flagged. It's interesting what they didn't do. They rejected the recommendation from Frontier that all those 29 lines companies from Vector down be amalgamated basically into 5 big sort of super companies to make it more efficient. They've said, look, we think we can get there by requiring them to standardise and getting more reporting about what they're doing, how they're doing it, what they're charging, because the lines part makes up about 1/4 of your bill. So that's an important part of getting the prices down. And they also said, no, we're not going to create this new company that's going to be responsible for thermal generation and all the firming part. We think we'll leave it to the market. That's Simon Watts, the Energy Minister, is very sort of big on that, saying we don't want to mess with this too much. He doesn't want to be the guy that winds up owning it, of course, as well.
It's interesting because we had the Frontier report, we've had MB reports, we've had Electricity Authority reports, and they're all referencing each other now.
Don't burn them, though, because that'll increase carbon emissions.
But at some point it's like, and the government, the Frontier report says we like this from this report and we don't like that from that report, and then the government says, well, we like this from the overall report. I mean, what you end up with is just a cherry-picked list, as Megan Wood said, a cherry-picked list of shopping list.
Yeah.
Does it actually do anything?
Actually, it's more like a shopping list where you've gone, don't need that, don't need that, we'll pick up that and that.
Winston won't like that, David won't like that.
It's a consensus view from Cabinet, was Simon Watts' point in there. So they've obviously had to try and move it through both sides of the coalition as well to get there. Look, there's some talk, our Patrick Smalley's been diving deep into this. I think he got a bit of an early look at some of the docs early this morning. And I mean, there's the speculation that liquid natural gas terminal that they're talking about supporting as a part of this could wind up being the Maui offshore platform rather than up north, because that's there, the gas fields are running down. You could re-engineer that so that ships could come in, tie up, pump into that, and it's all connected to the system for the gas that they're bringing already. That's really a big part of this, is like, how do we sort out the times where we don't have reliable renewables? Huntly's kind of a stopgap measure, the thing that we were talking about yesterday that's sort of been signed off by the Commerce Commission.
But you prefer to go gas than to go coal?
Well, there's just not enough in the system at the moment to cope, and so they're going to have to come up with something. I mean, a lot of the world is moving to that as an option. That's a big part of Trump's deal for trade with Europe, was saying you've got to start taking our LNG rather than taking the Russian stuff. So there's big plays involved in all of this. But and the other thing was those lines companies, your Vectors and the like, they've had a bit of a bump there. Previously, they weren't allowed to be generators. They could only take about 50 megawatts worth of power. Now they're going to be allowed to take up to 250 megawatts, so a local solar farm or something like that, they might be able to connect up to that, just to spread a bit of the load around the country a bit more and encourage things along a bit further.
I won't hold my breath as I stare down the barrel of a $300 plus power bill this month. Garth, thank you very much for that. In a 2-bedroom home, 2 plus a dog. Come on. Garth Bray.